Hello and welcome. My name is Nicholas and this is Literally Graphic. And today we are taking a look at the second volume of Joel Christian Gill's Strange Fruit, More Uncelebrated Narratives from the Black History series. TLDR, Gill has moved on 99% of the critiques I had of Volume 1, so yay. Much like last time, Joel Christian Gill is an educator, historian, cartoonist, and strong proponent of the hashtag 28 Days Are Not Enough. He lives in Manchester, New Hampshire, and is employed by the New Hampshire Institute of Art. Much like the first volume in this series, Strange Fruit Volume 2, as the title indicates, is a collection of very short biographic outlines. As one reviewer, who was skeptical that this series would continue, it is shorter than Volume 1, but I certainly hold out hope that it will continue. This series continues to be a positive, empowering look at underrepresented people in Black American history that still includes plenty of jabs at how horrible racism was, while avoiding gratuitous detail. Much like the first volume, this second volume is certainly a standalone work, but unlike the first volume, this collection does touch on a much more diverse set of stories, unlike Volume 1, where all the stories centered 100% on male people. In Volume 2, 50% of the people are categorized as male and 50% categorized as female, and while none of the characters presented fall into what we can clearly identify as LGBTQ, two of the people who are presented as female push very hard against any sort of simplistic or quote-unquote traditional idea of that gender. It's hard to go back in time and see how people fall into our modern concepts of gender and sexuality that are still very much evolving all the time. So while there are self-identified queer Black people who I would love to see profiled like this, the bar was so low from last time that this is a huge step forward. And who knows, Volume 3. Let's hold out hope. The other huge improvement in representation was the fact that two of the stories do profile people who are disabled. One profile is of the blind, autistic musician Tom Wiggins, although I'm not sure on what authority he is identified as autistic, as I'm not sure that diagnosis existed at the time and how people feel about that. Thing to research for myself. And the other profile is of conjoined twins Millie and Christine McCoy. The spectrum of ability to disability normative to other is one of the places I am really ignorant on. So I cannot really comment on the quality of the representation, but it seemed good that it was there. Again, compared to last time. The narratives were further complicated by the fact that all three of these people were still slaves and exploited for their quote-unquote freak factor, unlike a majority of the other profiles, which were of people who were free or at least found freedom by the time that the story took place. Otherwise, the apparently male people presented in this collection did feel a bit blasé in comparison, although it's probably very good that Victor Green, creator of the Green Book, was profiled, since the incredibly racist bullshit that is the Oscar award-winning movie Green Book has been released on the world. On the huge plus side, there was no pan-indigenous caricatures included in this volume. The art in this volume continues to be very lively and colorful, matching the style of storytelling extremely well. I would be very surprised if this book is not extremely popular in its target demographic of grade schools. The imaginative representation of the force of Jim Crow as an actual flock of demonic crows continues, and in this volume, Gill goes even a step forward to start using an icon of a face that I believe would be described as Sambo-like as an icon or shorthand for racist dialogue, balancing the need to represent the kind of shit that people say without centering it or needing to even repeat it. If you somehow don't know what kind of thing this icon is representing, there are other places to hear exactly what kind of vitriol is likely being spewed. As with Volume 1, this is very much an all-ages comic meant to entice one's taste for Black history, and while class isn't really addressed outright, in this volume, all the characters are of, generally speaking, a poorer or enslaved class, and all of them are treated with a lot of respect, it would seem. So I certainly hope that the series continues into the far future, and we become awash in lesser-known stories about Black people from all across the world and all classes, genders, and sexualities. Bye, y'all. Keep reading and resist fascism. And as always, I would like to acknowledge that for the most part, all of my videos are filmed and produced on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, an Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation, land covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant.